Hi, I'm Glenn Simpson, and I've collected comics for over 40 years, and I'm showing off my collection one box at a time. Today, we're showing off box number 48. We are going to have lots of one-shots and things, basically little series that start with DC this, DC that, and working our way through to series that start with DC Universe. So it's going to be a good time. By the way, we recently hit 50 subscribers, and that is extremely exciting for me. I really appreciate all of my subscribers, and I hope we can keep building that. It's a tough market out there. There's a lot of comic book related channels, so the fact that 50 people chose to smash that button really makes me happy, and I really appreciate it. So, uh, let's get going with box number 48. All right, so now we go to, we left off last time we did DC Comics Presents, and this is the second sort of series that was called DC Comics Presents, and it was in honor of editor Julius Schwartz, who had passed away, and he had revolutionized DC for the Silver Age and created a lot of the Silver Age heroes and things. And so they used it as this is a series of one-shots where they took the original cover that he had commissioned that had been originally drawn by someone else, and they I think they wrote a new story that went with the cover because that was what he used to do. Is he would have a cover drawn, and they would hand that cover over to a writer and say, okay, figure out a story that works with this. And so we have modern artists recreating the covers, and then modern writers figuring out a new story that goes with it. So, and then I think there's always they reprint the original in there too. And so there's a series of these one shots. This one is for the Atom, right there. Brian Bolland doing that new cover. Dave Gibbons doing some interior art. Mark Waid, Jan Jurgens, great number of artists. This one from Justice League of America. Peter David, Marv Wolfman, Jose Luis Garcia Lopez doing that cover. We got Green Lantern, another Brian Bolland cover there. From that classic cover, Brian Azzarello, Norm Brayfogle, that kind of thing. And a few of these have Alex Ross covers. This is one of them. Grant Morrison retelling a story. Elliot Magan, Jerry Ordway. Great stuff. Great collection of artists and things on these. Then the next thing they used DC Comics Presents for were a little reprint series. And this is one of them. This is where some of the classic Thunder agents, because DC got the rights to that series of characters. I can't remember what you call the company that originally owned them, but drawing a blank. But they had gotten the rights, and so they were doing some reprints. So this one reprints some of that stuff. There's lots of other DC Comics Presents that reprint various 3 and 4 issue runs from different DC series. Let's see, DC Comics The New 52. This was a giveaway that came out right before the New 52. Basically letting everybody know what it was going to be like. Right there. And it gives you your everybody needs their full list of the New 52 issues and when they come out. There you go. Of course, we're alphabetizing without any spaces and whatnot, so sometimes it looks a little funny, but now we have DCeased, or DCeased, the DC Heroes versus Zombies series. I got some of these. I had this and the DC versus Vampires. I did it for a while, but it was just going too long, so I had to let it go. So that's issue 1. Cool Mark Brooks cover on issue 6, if I'm not mistaken. one shot, DCeased, A Good Day to Die, with Barda and Mr. Miracle, Blue Beetle, Mr. Terrific, good stuff. DCeased, Dead Planet. As I recall, in this alternate world, we progressed to the point where John Kent is now Superman, and Cassie is King, not Cassie King, whatever her name is. She's now Wonder Girl is now Wonder Woman, and I believe even Damian is Batman, something like that. So they're continuing that fight, and that series ends with issue 7, fighting a bunch of Amazos. When zombies is too much, fight Amazos. And then there's another series, DCeased Unkillables. A bunch of the tough guys have to steal something like the cure for the zombieism or something like that. And that's issue 1. That runs through issue 3, Red Hood versus Wonder Woman. There. All through here, so DC does these little one-shots with anthologies of stories, or they do celebrations of months. You know, the months that are like Pride, or the Asian superhero celebration. Wait, that's not what I was trying to say. You know what I mean? The month of celebrating Asian heritage. So here we have a Art Germ cover for DC Festival of Heroes 1, right there with Batgirl. We've got so there's this 4 issues called DC First. Each one featured the first time retelling, or telling for the first time, the first time certain heroes met other heroes. We've got Superman meeting the Jay Garrick Flash for the first time. We got Superman meeting, they're not all Superman, but we got Superman meeting Lobo for the first time. I think the other one was Batgirl fighting the Joker for the first time, and Hal Jordan meeting Alan Scott for the first time. So those are those one-shots. DC's Love is a Battlefield. Drawing the Valentine's Day special. Cool cover right there. So that's what I mean. There's going to be a lot of these seasonal one-shots. I think they are kind of intended to be testing the waters for new artists and writers and things. Got DC Marvel All Access. So Access is a character created and collectively owned by both DC and Marvel, and his ability is he can travel back and forth between the DC and the Marvel universes, and so he gets into some hijinks, and this is another team up or crossover between the two comic companies. So DC Marvel All Access 1 and through 4 with the X-Men fighting the JLA. This all sort of started to kind of cheapen the crossovers. It became less of an event for a while there when this was sort of happening. It would pick back up when we got to JLA Avengers, of course. DC Nation, number 0. I don't know, 3 stories, just looks like a preview of things to come. Right there. Came out 1 month. DC's Nuclear Winter Special, another anthology. Right there, talk with winter Christmassy stories. DC 1 million. So, heroes living in the far future, 853rd century or something like that, which was 1 million months from Action Comics number 1, and they travel back to the present to deal with some stuff, and some of the present heroes travel to their future, and there's a 4-issue series about that, culminating in issue 4, and this is where we get Superman Prime. We are told that Superman at some point flies into the sun and lives there for a gajillion years and becomes out, supercharged, and all of the power scalers lose their minds. So there you go. That's issue 4. And we've got DC 1 Million 80-page Giant, which is some little side stories from that event. Young Justice Legion S. Atom and the Legion of Executive Familiars. And then I have some Black History Month specials right there, with DC getting all of their African-American, Afro-American, and African heroes, whatever, together. So this is the one from, I don't know what year. This one is the one that's called A Celebration. Right there. Got a very recent one, DC Power, Rise of the Power Company. I think they're working on this. They haven't released it yet, but a new version of the Power Company with a team of heroes who all are black. There. We've got DC Power 2024. Similar thing. All of the African American heroes telling story, not necessarily all in the same story, but telling stories of just those kinds of people, people that fit that category. DC Pride. So now we get into the DC Pride specials that come out every year for Pride Month. This one was for Rachel Pollack, who was a trans writer and very influential, did a lot of the early Doom Patrol after Grant Morrison's, picking up from him, and she passed away, so they did a special for her. Then DC Pride Tim Drake special. This is a special more focused on not a real person, but Tim Drake and his reprinting some of the stories of his coming out as bisexual, right there as part of Pride Month. We've got just a flat up DC Pride from, I think I've got these sort of alphabetized by the year, but you can't see the year, which makes it kind of hard, so I usually look at the cover. So just, a DC Pride special. Right there, got a cool Jim Lee cover, Batwoman, cool cover. Got another one, this one from 2020, this one clearly marked from 2022, I think that previous one was a 2021. Right there, John Kent, there. Ron Brereton, I believe, cover on that. Got Dreamer, cool. Poison Ivy, that. Got 2024. All of the various heroes, and right there, and 2025 variant, of course, is our version, which is the most recent. Right there, Alan Scott front and center. And all of those books had variant covers, and so you have DC Pride uncovered, and this was it's like they did a few of, they've been doing a few of these uncovered things, and it's like a collection of variant covers or the main covers of those books. Usually it's of a series or a character, but of course this is for those yearly Pride specials. So lots of neat artwork in there. So going from DCP to DCR, we have DC Rebirth Holiday Special right there. Lots of Christmas stories of the various heroes. We've got DC Retroactive. So they did a thing in the, when did these come out? 2011. So as they were getting into nearing the New 52 and trying to say, okay, this is going to be, you know, a whole new universe and all that stuff, and they was like, well, let's celebrate the history we have. And so several characters, they would get 3 specials, one set in the 70s or in the style of the 70s, one set in the style of the 80s, and one set in the style of the 90s. So here we have Batman Retroactive 1970s, written by Lin Wayne, who wrote stories in the 70s. Tom Mandrake, who didn't write stories. Well, he might have written stories in the 70s, but he really came more along in the 80s, but he had a style reminiscent of that. And then so all you're going to see is the 70s and the 90s versions. Leave a comment if you'd like to see the 80s versions. And Norm Brayfogle and Alan Grant, who did all of those great Batman Shadow of the Dark Knight kind of stories, doing that. So we've got Flash from the 1970s, written by Cary Bates. It's a 1970s Flash writer. Never heard of him before. But anyway, that's the 70s. And Flash 1990s with Brian Augustine, who was around then. Wally West, Flash, right there. Green Lantern. Of course, if you're going to do a 1970s Green Lantern, you need Mike Grell doing that artwork, as he does here. Dennis O'Neil writing. And if you're going to do 90s, you got to have Ron Mars and Darryl Banks right there. So, telling an untold tale of Kyle Rayner. We've got Justice League #1. Just going back, so in the 80s, let me see, 80s, wait. Oh, these are just kind of a little backwards. So the 70s, bringing back, got Cary Bates, classic writer, and you got the teams going up against Kenjar Rowe, as you do. And then you're getting to see the 80s for this one. The 80s, got Justice League Detroit going up against Felix Faust there. And for some reason, people pay a little more for the 90s on this. Kevin Maguire artwork on that, bringing back the Bwahaha Justice League Antarctica, which was the little villain team that they let them join, but they had to go live in Antarctica. And we got Keith Giffen and J.M. DeMatteis and Kevin Maguire reuniting for that one shot. And then the Superman version of that, got Martin Pascoe coming back. And these were kind of, I remember all these villains from the 70s issues of Superman. And then the 90s version got Louise Simonson and John Bogdanove, who had done Superman, Man of Steel, coming back to do a story. Then the Wonder Woman version, it's 1970s. Dennis O'Neil coming back to write. because he had written Wonder Woman in the 70s. J Bone during the art, and the 1990s with William Messner Loeb's coming back. I don't think Lee Moder had done. Maybe he had done original, but anyway, right there. So that was the DC Retroactive. DCR. Now we get into DCS. DC Sampler. These were free giveaways that were showing little samples of what was coming up in the different DC books in the early 80s. There was some fantastic artwork in these. George Perez doing brand new artwork for New Teen Titans, illustrating what was coming out for that, for example. Beautiful stuff. And there's 3 issues of that. This last one has a Fred Hembeck cover. But this is like a perfect little snapshot of a period of time. So if you ever get a chance to get some DC Sampler, recommend it. Alright, so DCS. So another holiday related one shot. DC's Batman Smells Robin Laid an Egg. Right there with this cool Superman cover. DC's Beach Blanket Bad Guys Summer Special. There, Amanda Connor art on that cover. DC's Crimes of Passion from Valentine's Day. There. DC's Ghouls Just Want to Have Fun. Another Halloween timed special. There's a bajillion of these. I don't know why I keep getting them. DC's Harley Quinn romances. Again, Valentine's Day themed. DC's How to Lose a Guy Gardner in 10 Days. Right there. Another Valentine's, I believe. See, heart. Yeah. Right there. DC's I Know What You Did. I Know What You Did Last Crisis. This is a variant cover, I believe. Batgirl. So this is a throwback to the Crisis on Infinite Earths and an unfortunate fingerprint. A couple of things I didn't mean to buy. Got the Silver Age Classics. Got this one, which reprints Action Comics 252, and this one that reprints Adventure Comics 247. I meant to get the millennial editions. I saw them and I was like, oh yeah, that's those things that are on my list, and so now I have these. Not that there haven't probably also been other facsimiles. We got DC's Legion of Bloom. So all of the plant-related Midfill, the Green Lantern, all the plant-related characters. DC's Lex and the City. Some more love-related stuff. Here, love sweeps the DCU one city at a time. Alright, enough of that silliness for a minute. Got DC Special, which is kind of a reprint book. It'd have a theme. Reprint past DC stories. War Against the Giants, so various reprints of the DC heroes going up against giants. There. DC Special 20, Green Lantern, reprinting some Green Lantern stories. There. 21, Superheroes, War Against the Monsters. Just various monstrous character villains, things. Got the Marvel family in there. Classic reprint of the Marvel family. 21. 27. This one actually is new and has the Captain Comet teaming up with the Challengers of the Unknown. And we've got 28 with different heroes teaming up for earth-shattering disasters. Right there. Next in the DCS, that was DC Special. This is DC Special Cyborg. So there were some miniseries for the Titans characters, and they all started with DC Special. So here they are. Cyborg issue 1. It runs through issue 6. There. Raven would also get a miniseries under the DC Special, written by her creator, Mark Wolfman. Right there, issue 1, running through issue 5. There. Then we get to DC Special Series, and DC Special Series was, you'd only see that name in the indicia, the fine print. So the titles are all over the place, the numbers are all over the place, aren't on the cover, and of course I don't have them labeled, so trust me, these are all DC Special Series. Couldn't tell you off the top of my head what number each one is, but obviously this is issue 1, and this was a kind of a tryout for things like the adventure comics, where they would have 5 different different stories going, the anthologies, the dollar comics. So this was a tryout for that right there. And then several of DC Special Series were reprinting the original Swamp Thing. This is how I have the original Swamp Thing series, or at least the first part of it, first few issues. So this is reprinting the first 2 or 3 issues of that. And that's issue. So it says issue 1. Pay no attention to that. It's DC Special Series, like issue 2 or whatever. We've got Superman Spectacular, which this was, I'd always seen this cover, thought this was going to be an awesome comic, and then got it, and it was a boring story that I actually already owned in a digest comic. So very disappointed, but at least the completionist of me, says that I have this issue of DC Special Series. Secret Society of Supervillains Special. I think this one ties in to the Secret Society of Supervillains series that was running at the time, so it's kind of a special issue of that. Going on. We've got a little cluster of them here. Brave and the Bold Special with Batman and Deadman and Sergeant Rock teaming up. So this was a DC Special Series special issue with the theme, the Brave and the Bold, tying into the Brave and the Bold series. And we've got a lot of people will recognize this ad from the ads. This is another DC Special Series, a Flash Spectacular, with our 3 Flashes going up against Grodd and Johnny Quick, whom we would see again next in the All-Star Squadron. But it had kind of been forgotten there for a while, appearing in there. So that's that. The series continues to reprint Swamp Thing. So books 3 and 4. So yes, 2 issues at a time. They could change out that bag. It's got this ugly old sticker on it. And So that's retelling those, reprinting those issues. Got a Batman Spectacular Marshall Rogers cover on that. Three complete stories. So some cool, some good Batman stuff right there. Those 3 and 4, so this must be 5 and 6 or 5, 6, 7. So you know, this is we're making our way through the original Swamp Thing stories here, and this issue. Skipping some because I'm not really a Western guy. There's probably like a Western issue and things like that. 3 more issues of Swamp Thing in this one right here. So this next one I got when I was a kid, and it is the first time Frank Miller draws Batman in this Christmas story in this issue, and so it's a very in-demand kind of book, and I wore this thing out. It's in tatters. I've done what I can to press it and, you know, use archive tape to hold it together, because I don't care about conservation labels or anything like that. But this is kind of it would be a big boy book if it wasn't in such bad shape. So, but this is just each set of characters listed there having a Christmas story. It was for my first exposure to people like Jonah Hex, and I think my first Superboy in the Legion, actually. I think it may be that one. Hang on. Not just talk to the blue screen. I think this may be the one. So Superboy arrives in the future, right, to hang out with the Legion, and I'll tell the story real quick. And Mon-El is on quote guard duty, and then Superboy goes in and talks to the rest of the Legion or whatever, and it's like this might be that tabloid story. Never mind. Anyway, there's a Legion. I'll tell the story here. And so forever and ever, I thought that Mon-El was kind of like a second-class member of the Legion, because he was just the guy on guard duty, right? Like that's the image I formed of him, and it took a while for me to get used to the idea that no, he's actually a full-on Legion member, you know, an important one. Anyway, another DC Special Titans book, DC Special, The Return of Donna Troy. She had been killed in the Titans Young Justice graduation day, or Outsiders Young Justice graduation day thing, and of course nobody stays dead, so she comes back to life here. Phil Jimenez, Jose Luis Garcia Lopez doing art, some Perez art in there as well. So this is, you know, three artists. I don't know if he's doing any art, but he may just be writing. But 3 great artists there, and they bring back Donna Troy. I probably ought to reread this. And of course, now, as of this recording, Phil Jimenez has just released a Titans annual wherein he is, retelling her story for the modern continuity. But lots of Outsiders and Titans and people like that involved here. DC's Saved by the Belle Reve, 8 Tales of Academic Adventures, more testing ground book. DC's Spring Breakout, more testing book, anthology, Harley Quinn cover there. DCU Terrors Through Time. There, 8 Tales of Traumatizing Time Travel. There. Then we jump from that modern book to, again, some more classic stuff. DC Superstars. Again, more themed reprints, similar to the DC Special. This one is Teen Titans, issue 1. This was a great early book to get some exposure to the older, even older stories of the Teen Titans. They did several of these DC Superstars of space, so reprinting like Adam Strange and Captain Comet and Space Ranger, things like that. So the theme wouldn't just be a character; it would be, space. And we've got DC Superstars, The Flash, right there, reprinting some classic Flash stories. We're obviously in 1976 here. Dick Giordano doing the covers right there. An Aquaman themed issue of here in issue 7. Aqualad and Aquagirl in their own story, so that must have been a new story. But then some reprints with fighting Ocean Master and Black Manta. Another DC Superstars of Space there, reprinting some Adam Strange, Star Rovers, that kind of thing. Weird black tape that I have there. Strange sports stories. So, DC used to do books that weren't just superheroes. They would also be, westerns and ghost stories and horror and war and things like that. And there's this minor genre which is sports stories, which is strange things that happen during sporting events. And so there's several reprints in here of that. But then this is a new story of the superheroes have to go up against the supervillains in a baseball game. And as I say so often, hilarity ensues. But that's what happens there. If you're a baseball fan, strange DC Superstars number 10 is going to be your bag, man. Then this is a hot book, DC Superstars of Magic, Zatanna. I think it's like her first solo series or something like that. Something to do with Zatanna. I don't know what the why is this particular one, but yeah, it's got original stories, I believe, in there, done by Gray Morrow, fantastic artist there. We've got a DC Superstars Giant number 12 with a new Superboy story right there. Superboy being tested. Jor-El would just send robots and all kinds of crap after the Kal-El to make sure that he was ready to be Superman and whatnot, which I thought he died like right after he sent the rocket off. So how did he get all these other things fired off in time? Kind of a makes me think that maybe he never intended to send anybody else. Anyway, maybe he had a death wish. Anyway, DC Superstars 12 there. DC Superstars 13, featuring Sergio Aragones, known for his work in Mad Magazine, and for all of you Goode the Wanderer fans, this is a book chock full of his funny humor stories and gags, and it's all new right there in issue 13. DC Superstars number 14, Origins of Supervillains. This one's kind of weird because it's like it has Green Lantern encountering Grodd, and before Flash, and has Dr. Light fighting Hawkman before his first appearance. This was always, even back then, this was always a little shaky. Like, I don't know that I believe this was, nobody paid any attention to that. Star Hunters, which was a series that had been out, I think probably got canceled, and so they chucked the last issue into here. I'm betting that's what happened there, because it's a very short-lived series. Then we get to a big boy book, DC Superstars number 17, the first appearance of the Huntress, the daughter of the Earth 2 Batman and Catwoman, who has reached adulthood and is now going to become a superhero. And this book also retells origins of Green Arrow and the Legion. So this is a highly valued book. So highly valued that they did facsimile. If you want to see that, it's kind of the cut of the edge there is a little different. You need to see a little bit more of the edge on this one. But I don't usually do dupes. I don't know why I got that facsimile. Let's see. DC Superstars final issue, I believe, is issue 18 with a new story featuring Deadman and the Phantom Stranger teaming up. There's so many one-shots in this box. That's why this is taking forever. DC's Very Merry Multiverse, or holiday stuff. DC's Year of the Villain, which is kind of another here's what's coming up in the various books kind of thing from one year. Just questioning the order. DC The Doomed and the Damned. I guess we're in a DCT, so DCT. So some more horror stories right there. DC Universe. Okay, DCU, even though it's not on the front. Brave New World. Another preview book showing us what was going to be happening in the various series that were coming out soon. DC Universe. Whether a book had the title had DCU or DC Universe, things get a little fuzzy there. So it is what it is. DC Universe Holiday Special, right there. DC Universe Halloween Special 2010. This must be getting near the end. Well, 2010. Yeah, we got that Wonder Woman in that version of her costume. I believe this is DCU Heroes Secret Files and Origins. Right here, the DEO, basically the superhero, the government agency that manages superheroes. Spend some time talking about the various heroes, which of course gives the people, the readers, a chance to know who they all are. So that's that. Go this a little faster. DC Universe Holiday Special. Right there. Looking good. Another DC Universe Holiday Special from 2010. Spectre. The Infinite Holiday Special. Okay, this was funny. They were, because Infinite Crisis had come out recently, they wanted to call this Infinite Christmas Special, but then somebody told them, no, you can't just call it Christmas, because you can't do Christmas by itself. So so now Infinite Holiday makes no sense whatsoever. So that's kind of funny. All right. So then, for those of you who are familiar with the current new history of the DC Universe, this was the previous attempt to lay out the history of the DC Universe. So this is actually probably not necessarily a bad series. This one just has more of a it allows for some of the reboots and stuff. It mentions them or that kind of thing. So it's not from the perspective of a character living in the universe, per se. It's from the perspective of the readers. But anyway, we got issue 1, Joe Kubert talking about the Golden Age, right there. Issue 5 and 6. By the time we get to issue 5 and 6, make sure we get all of this. We are talking about the Crisis period. George Perez recreating. I think he had started this for a role-playing game supplement, and so it got reprinted here. But a gorgeous George Perez cover. So that's issue 5, and that's issue 6, and then by issue 10 we are caught up with what was at the time the modern world. This also series makes no attempt whatsoever to explain how the JSA's heroes are just now having children and whatnot a few years ago. Why they waited so long, which is my pet peeve. Anyway, just DCU Legacies. That's the name of that book. I haven't mentioned that. DC Universe 0, another preview book, another Perez book cover right there. I think getting into the final crisis, and because that's what by Grant Morrison and Geoff Johns. So yeah, this is a prequel to the final crisis that was about to be published. Not which, of course, wasn't the final crisis, but you know. DC Universe Decisions, an attempt to have an actual look at how superheroes would interact with politics, happening there. Different heroes taking a side in politics. That's issues 1 through 4. There. And we get to some DCU. I think these are now we're into DCU neighbors. No, anyway. DCU Holiday Bash. More Christmas stuff. 1999. DCU Holiday Bash number 3. Right there. DC Universe Last Will and Testament. Another kind of, maybe not a preview book, but yeah, tied in with some stuff that was going on in Justice League and Outsiders and things like that. It's kind of a book about the overall DC Universe. And then in the New 52, okay, so, well, let's come back to that for a second. So in the New 52, they launched DC Universe Presents, and it was an anthology book, just telling stories about various characters and things like that. But the 0 issue was kind of funny because there were several series that that were New 52 series. They got canceled after like 8 or 10 issues, and so the 0 issue here is contains one more story for each of the canceled series: OMAC, Mr. Terrific, Hawk and Dove, and the Blackhawks. So that's kind of funny. Well, here they are right there, and Deadman. So there you go. It's the 0 issue. And then, yes, so the first arc in the regular series has a Deadman story. Issue 8 is part of a Challengers of the Unknown storyline where they introduce a lot of new characters into the Challengers of the Unknown instead of the original 4. Issue 9 is a storyline called Savage, which was kind of a Silence of the Lambs kind of storyline involving Vandal Savage, the immortal caveman villain. And that series ends with issue 19. I don't remember what the deal is there on that one, though. But that's the last issue of DC Universe Presents, is issue 19. And that is all for that box. Okay, so that's 48. Next time we will do box 49. We will do a few more DC things, and then we will get into titles starting with Dead and Death. It's kind of morbid. And so if you like Dead and Death, then be sure to be here for box 49 next time. But until then, hope you have a great day.